Hello, nerds, and welcome to 4Nerds Gaming. You're on with Happy Bandit.
Keelan.
The Life.
Laura the Great.
And so let's address the elephant in the room.
Is it pink?
Is that a fat joke?
No to you, maybe to you. And see, the fun thing is, I'm responding to you in an opposite way of the way the questions were asked, so the listener
Very confused.
isn't going to know what's going on. So it's been a minute since we have posted anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that is probably a combination of being busy, being lazy, and just kind of getting burned out on everything.
Yeah, that's a good combination.
I vote lazy.
I was developing my career as a nurse. That's my excuse.
Look at me. I'm Laura the Great. I've got a valid excuse for things.
I was too busy carrying this family on my back for the last year.
It's true. It's way true.
Yeah.
Happy is now a kept man.
Yeah.
He's a kept man.
But he also worked his butt off extended hours for 14 years while I finally figured out what I wanted to do with my life. So
She finally figured out what she wanted to be when she grows up.
I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but I'm doing a good job being a nurse right now.
There you go.
So it kind of got to the point where I was thinking about the reason we started this back umpteen years ago. I don't even remember now, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, it's like 6 now.
And back then it was us sitting in my living room playing console games, you know, with microphones and just playing and having fun.
With the hapog.
Yeah, just you know,
Remember that thing?
things
Hopog.
being organic. Then we moved into the future and joined the PC Master Race,
For life.
which is significantly better. It is known.
It is known.
It is known.
Even my 7-year-old recognizes that the PC is better. He's constantly hounding me to use my computer.
And while that's all great, the problem that came with that is because we're all playing separately, even if we're all recording together, it's still not the same. We're not face to face, in quotes.
We're not having a conversation.
We were sitting side by side back then. Now we are actually face to face, which
Yeah,
is
literally.
interesting.
Nice.
That's a little distracting.
Knights of the Oval Table.
Well, it's just because I'm so damn cute.
Yeah.
And so we're going to sort of rebrand all of this and reformat it to more of a podcast format. Okay, not more of 100%
To
of a
a-
podcast format.
To a podcast format.
That being said, if you're watching on YouTube, and I'll come back to that in a second, what you're seeing on the screen is just sort of footage of games that somebody has played.
Probably not me because I suck.
It may not even be interesting footage. It's just something to look at. What you're probably seeing on the screen right now is a game of Rocket League that Keelan and I played over a year ago.
Wait. He shoots, he scores. Okay. How much you want to bet that didn't line up at all?
Probably not. Probably not.
We'll see. We'll see. We even recorded commentary for that. Again, well over a year ago. And it just we never did anything with it. Because the idea was that, it's only 5 minutes long. We don't want to make a video of just that. So we were going to record some more and just never did. Never got around to it. Which is probably good because I don't think we've ever really gotten any better.
No.
To be fair, it's a hard game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what you're seeing on YouTube is we're going to record, and it'd probably be roughly an hour-ish, give or take a little bit. And then once we edit it down to where it sounds moderately professional,
Moderately.
because there will be times where we all just sit here and go,
Yeah, I know.
That hurts my ears.
yeah, that was excessive. But And we'll cut all that out. And then we'll take it and kind of crop it. Not crop it, but divide it into 2 to 3 chunks of, where there's some kind of organic breaks.
2 or 3 chunks of salty goodness.
Yep. And then throw that gameplay footage on there. Put it on YouTube. Again, just to have something to look at if you want to. Eventually, the full, complete, uncut episodes, they'll be edited, but in one piece.
I love that he's talking with his hands.
He is.
I do that all the time.
I do that a lot too.
But they'll be available maybe on our website. Eventually, wherever podcasts are found, be it iTunes, the Play Store, Podcasts are us, whatever.
Ideally, we get 1,000% funnier, and people start following us, and we get some ads going on here, and get supported, and this can become a legit thing.
That would be awesome.
Would it be too legit to quit?
It would be at that point.
We would not be able to quit. It would be too
we would
legit.
be contractually obligated to keep going.
So here's gonna kind of be the format of things. We'll talk for a little bit about whatever's going on, and then we'll dive into 3 different, I'm going to call it categories of discussion. There's random topics that have come up in our lives that we want to talk about. There is news of the weird that we've come across that we want to discuss, and then pull some questions from Ask Reddit that make interesting topics for us to discuss. Things related to nerd culture, or that it's just stuff we want to talk about. Now, a couple of things I do want to mention. We will do our absolute best to keep this show as family friendly as possible.
Absolutely.
We have kids who we are sure would like to watch. Nope, listen. That's what I meant. Listen.
Well, they'll watch on YouTube with the gameplay in the background.
Yep.
They'll be watching. Let's be honest.
But, we're grown-ups. Sometimes things can get a little, maybe a touch blue. Maybe not so much blue, like a cyan. So
A little
Sky
teal.
blue.
So
Yeah, aquamarine.
It may skew to the PG-13 area now and then. So you've been warned. Also, we are going to, again, do our best to avoid any kind of hot button issue, anything political, anything too serious.
It's for fun.
Yeah, we're here to have fun. Yeah. We would love your feedback though. So post in the comments, message us on Twitter.
If you have questions you would like us to answer on this podcast, that would be a great thing to throw in the comments.
Yeah, you can email us 4nerdsgaming@gmail.com. I don't think I mentioned, as part of the rebranding, we're still going to keep the 4Nerds Gaming channel.
Because there's still 4 of us.
Yeah, there's still 4 of us. And honestly, it's less work to keep it.
Because lazy.
And, we've still got subscribers on there.
That's
Who all of a
right.
sudden are going to start getting new content.
They're going to be like, oh, what?
I love the occasional Facebook notification. 4Nerds Gaming got, 2 new followers.
Actually, what
And
I'm
I'm like-
getting is, you have 100-something followers who haven't heard from 4Nerds Gaming in a while. Yeah.
Maybe you should do something about that.
I think, at least for now, we're dubbing this the 4NerdsCast. Because I'm unoriginal.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now, as nerds, the kind of nerd culture that we want to promote is one of acceptance of everyone's opinions, everyone's interests. They're all relevant. They're all valuable. Even though we may not share them, that does not mean they do not have value.
We're going to follow Wheaton's law.
Yes.
Small
And
words.
in addition to that, the 4 of us are friends. We see each other multiple times a week. We hang out all the time. And we have discussions. And sometimes something gets said in these discussions. And knowing that this podcast was coming, I have to kind of file it back in my head.
Stick it in your back pocket.
Yeah,
for
stick it in my
later.
back pocket for later.
Tuck it down in there.
Save that discussion for
it's
later.
stuff that I would love to discuss, but I really want a real organic kind of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
That all being said, I felt I had a rather controversial opinion that Ben Affleck was decent as Batman.
I thought we were avoiding hot button issues.
Yeah, I know. Again, I felt it was a controversial topic. Until the other day, I heard the wife discussing her preferences for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to share those, please?
No.
No.
Now, this is a safe place.
This is a safe place. There will be no judgment.
We will sit here and judge you, but
You'll judge me silently and in love.
but in love.
Yeah.
There will be no vocal judgment.
No vocal
I'm
judgment.
going to judge her out loud a little bit.
Yeah, there's going to be judgment. Okay.
So, okay.
But I
Alright.
still love her.
So my number one vote for the best Batman, not the best modern Batman, and by modern I mean from the 80s on. My vote for number one Batman is Michael Keaton.
That is solid. That's a solid
because
solid
he's
selection.
the original and he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And my number two is George Clooney.
You got the number 2 part
There
right.
it goes. that sort of hits on where the, I don't want to say warning bells, but there were definitely some little bing.
When she said this the other day, I saw like that look on your face, Happy. That look of contention, like, maybe not. But I didn't realize that you were saving this for the podcast, and I wondered why you didn't get in on that discussion.
So, again, this is a safe place, a place where discussion is promoted.
Mm-hmm.
So, please enlighten me.
I don't have to defend George Clooney to you. He's George Flippin Clooney.
This is true. This is true.
Okay, all right. To be fair, there's a few reasons why George is number two for me. Number one, during the time that George Clooney's Batman came out, I was going through some really hard times in my life. And George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell helped see me through said dark times. And Chris O'Donnell, I love him. He was amazing. But no, it's okay. So, admittedly, I admit this, and I've admitted this before, that Batman and Robin, not the best of the Batman movies. It's not. There's no argument whatsoever there. The writing was subpar. The characterizations, as far as the writing, was subpar. Setting, not great. None of it was great. But when you give a good actor a bad script, he can make something out of nothing. And George Clooney made something out of nothing.
It was something, all right.
And, and yeah, I mean, I think he did a great job. I think George Clooney did a great job as Batman. I think he got the Batman 2 down. And, he was the Batman, the dark Batman. I felt he embodied it really well.
Okay. Well, that does make sense. In the spirit of a friendly debate, I would like to issue a rebuttal, if I may.
A rebuttal.
A rebut.
Yes.
Emphasis on the word but.
So there are a number of comic book movies that were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Spawn was disappointingly so. The 2 Ghost Rider movies, which
Nikki Cage, what were you thinking?
Poor Nikki.
Just in a quick parenthetical, I am certain the person that wrote the second Ghost Rider movie did not watch the first one because there's no continuity there. Anyway, I never saw the original Captain Hulk, or not Captain Hulk.
Captain
America.
Captain Hulk.
Captain America movie back in the 70s, 80s, something like that. And then also the Eric Bana Hulk was just really confusing. That being said, all of those movies, I would live in a world where those are the only movies I could ever watch. If I could somehow erase the memory of Batman and Robin from my mind, it was just now.
So bad.
I own it. I have it because I can't have the other three and not the fourth one.
Because you're a completionist.
Yes.
Completion.
Now, I will say, in defense of the wife, there's some nostalgia there.
There's a
like
lot of
that's
nostalgia
part
there.
of my like teen years.
That was
The
Yeah,
Batman
absolutely.
and Robin movies. And I also have a lot of like nostalgia for the Superman movies growing up. Now watching them with my kids, they're not, they were great in their time. I'm going to say that. Christopher Reeve plays a good.
Christopher Reeve was amazing.
Good Superman.
He was amazing as Superman.
But the cheesy bullcrap that is those movies really drove me away from DC Comics. Like when I really embraced Marvel because I felt like they didn't go over the top. Like the X-Men movie came out and Marvel, really did movies really well. Whereas DC movies had been really cheesy and crappy and, you're not going to put me in the cooler, with Arnold. That when I think of that
Arnold
movie,
was
that's the
great.
first thing that pops in my head. And I
Arnold
just
was
want to
great.
I just want to choke the governor because that cheesy stuff is what pushed me away from DC. Because I've always been a nerd and I always loved comic book characters, and that was sort of my escape was in comics and in books. And so it's not been until recently with the new Justice League movies and those things that I've really embraced DC again. The really what did it for me was the Arrow show, the way that they did Green Arrow. And took it very seriously. And they wove in some things like the boxing glove arrow and stuff like that, made it fun for the fans. But they took that storyline seriously. And so it made me feel like somebody wasn't making a mockery of my nerddom, whereas I felt those others were.
I will come to you with an olive branch and say George Clooney was not the worst part of Batman and Robin.
Yes.
He was not.
Bat nipples.
Bat nipples.